either whatever you want to call it, God or evolution designed us perfectly, okay, for the environment that we're in. If something's wrong, it means that the signals you're getting are creating that problem. If you try, instead of removing those signals that are creating the problem, if you try to give yourself a new signal that's this artificial signal, like a drug or something, to fix the problem, it's as though you are going down to the machine language of the human being. So machine language is zeros and ones. It's impossible for human beings to program in zeros and ones. They can't program computers in zeros and ones. But you take a higher level language like C++ or JavaScript or something, and then there's this program that translates it into machine language so that a machine can understand it and actually run your software. So underneath the surface, everything that we're using on a computer is just strings of zeros and ones. Okay, those are all the commands. They're just zeros and ones. It's impossible, right, to understand. It's too complicated for a human being to understand and figure out. Trying to tweak biochemistry and take some like drug or some thing to like push yourself back into balance, even though you're not correcting the underlying problem, is the same thing as trying to program in machine language. You will break things. Okay, you will absolutely break things. Yes. So some people, maybe you can't escape the problem, right? And yet the body is so resilient that if you do like 60, 70, 80% right, it'll be able to overcome the other 20% that you can't escape, right? Say you can't escape the Wi-Fi or the 5G. If you do enough right, it'll offset the thing that you cannot escape, that you have no control over. Most people don't want to do 80% of the things right? The Pareto rule, 80-20. Even 20% right? You might get 80% of the benefit just by doing 20% right. That's the Pareto rule. So in a lot of situations, it doesn't even take that much, right? Just like, okay, fine, you can't go outside all day long and get sun throughout the day, like in the shade and in the direct sun. At least go for like 15, 30 minutes in the morning at sunrise, midday for some amount of time, right? During a lunch break, and then watch the sunset too, right? That's possible for almost everyone, right? Don't turn the lights on after dark. That's possible for everyone. I guarantee you. Okay. People lived in this world before the era of lights. Okay. Artificial lights. It is possible to use less phone. I grew up using no phone. So it is possible to survive without a phone. So people are just addicted, right? So that's one other thing that I'll just mention here, that the blue light itself triggers addiction. Okay. Because it raises dopamine, right? So dopamine is something that we need to be stimulated by the sun and to like feel desire to do things and go out in the world and conquer things. But too much and triggered all the time, especially at night, you're just like dopamine. So the software itself is designed to trigger dopamine, but even the light from your phone itself triggers dopamine and makes it addictive. So that's one of the reason I tweeted, that's the reason my phone looks like this. It's red. Okay. In settings, you go to settings and you turn your phone red, totally red. Sometimes you can't read something when the thing you're trying to read is in red. So you can triple click the, hold on. You can triple click the side button and it turns blue again. So whatever is unreadable in red is readable in blue. But most of the time I leave it red. And after a few weeks, you'll notice that you don't feel, if you get a lot of sun during the day and you turn your phone red, you'll find you're less addicted to the phone and the computer, and you're not like checking Twitter every 3 seconds to see if somebody replied to you or retweeted you.